Twitter is the largest distributor of illegal content to minors in the world. Something I really hope Elon Musk takes a step ahead and says, we're not doing this anymore. And if we are, you will have to enter in your birthday. There will have to be an ID situation. There will be levels to this shit. That's
Split the gizzards!
You know, when you hear these situations of censorship and banning, shutting down websites, shutting down access to these websites, you hear this from other countries like France and Germany, Russia and Australia, you know, the bans on porn sites and anime and manga and the figurines, models, and stuff like that that goes on. But yet, the real crux, the real problem of the situations that they say that's going on is actually in companies that basically are much larger, that has been there for quite some time, and nothing is done about it. Nothing is, you know, it is there. It's blatantly face open. It has been told to corporate, and nothing has really been done. Every once in a while, you might see one or two sacrificial lambs that are taken down, but yet a ton of it still exists. And what we're talking today about, more continuations, the soap opera of the Twitter changes that are going on, and the situations that are that's going to happen, and the stuff that is coming out. And the thing about it is, now, I'll point out, and I said this in the other video about it. Will there be changes in Twitter? Yeah, there's going to be changes. Drastic changes, minor changes. Will it be all for the good? Right now, it is a question mark at the moment. Yes, some of it has been good so far. Now, I myself, my Twitter, the Q to Cast and My Man with the Show Twitter pages are very small. They're not that big. You know, we don't have the hundreds of thousands of people on there. But, you know, slowly for the climb that we had, we lost a lot of people. We're now just gaining it back. Not like the 100,000, 50,000 that others have been seeing, but a small handful of people have returned to our pages, which we already see it reflecting on there. And hopefully we'll get them all back. But one thing that has been a problem, and this is not only toward Twitter, this is also toward YouTube and, you know, TikTok, that there is blatant pornography on the sites, legal and illegal. Now, according to the terms of service, these items should not be on these sites, including Twitter, according to that terms of service. But it still does exist in these sites, especially Twitter. Now, if you're familiar with the porn, well, she's no longer in the porn industry, but she was a fairly and still very popular porn star, Lisa Ann, who back in the day did a great Sarah Palin. Out of the New York Post this past week, ex-porn star Lisa Ann wants Elon Musk to ban X-rated content on Twitter. Now, a lot of people say, well, they take, you know, the money, she's making money off of her videos and stuff like that, and they're putting it illegally on Twitter. That's not the major issue. I myself, I haven't seen that much Lisa Ann stuff on Twitter. But there are other things that are playing on Twitter that should not be there, including GIFs, including small little videos of penetrating sex that are on Twitter itself. And I see it on a constant on my feed constantly. Now, we're going to read a little bit into this. An ex-porn star demanded Elon Musk ban X-rated content when he takes over Twitter, accusing the social media giant of being the largest distributor of illegal content to minors. Lisa Ann, 49, who made a name for herself in the adult film industry by parroting Republican Vice President nominee Sarah Palin in several videos, told listeners on her podcast last week that Musk needs to take action in order to protect children. And that's correct. Twitter has no safeguards against children. Same thing like TikTok as well. Something I really hope Elon Musk takes a step ahead and says, we're not doing this anymore. And if we are, you'll have to enter in your birthday. There would have to be an ID situation. There would have to be levels to this shit. That's what I'm hoping she said. Anne said there's no contradiction between her message and her career as a pornographic film star. Yes, I did porn for many years of my life, and I'm not hiding my past, as people tell me every day on social media when I wear clothes. Why are you trying to deny your past? You're this, you're that, she said. You could leave the industry. There are many adult stars that have left the industry on there and are in different industries. Sharon Mitchell, for example, she is now a doctor who helps people in the adult industry on there. She's been a doctor for many years on there. I am just evolving, and we're allowed to evolve, she added. So many disdain for porn on social media has nothing to do with porn other than the fact that you're sharing it on platforms that have no age gate. And that's true. There is no age gate on Twitter. The Post has reached out to Twitter seeking comment. Twitter is one of the few social media platforms that allow porn, though users aren't allowed to post explicit content in their profile photos, headers, images, or live feeds. That is false. There's been tons of it on there. I could show you them, but unfortunately, I'll probably get locked out by YouTube for showing you, and I might get locked out by the other sites on there because, you know, they do have their rules and regulations, and I do respect them. Facebook and Instagram does not allow nudity or explicit content on their platforms, as you could see. Pornographic material can be shared within tweets, but the person sharing the content must mark the account as sensitive, when then prompts a warning message to users who must acknowledge whether they want to see the content. Twitter's terms of service stipulate that the company could remove accounts devoted solely to explicit content, but the service has generally been lax in enforcing it. Exactly. Pure and simple. They have just been totally lax. They'll get rid of some here and there, but not all of it. Elon Musk, 50, is in the process of buying out Twitter shareholders and taking the company private after the board of directors approved its $44 billion takeover last month. In his public statements, Musk avowed to do away with censorship on Twitter. Now, for those of you saying it's censorship, you know, taking away the point, no, it's not supposed to be there. There are sites that they could use. His pending acquisition has stoked the excitement among conservatives that he would do away with some of the service's content moderations, potentially paving the way for the return of former President Donald Trump and other controversial figures on the right. Trump said last month that he had no intention of returning Twitter, which his account has been permanently banned since the 6th, Jan 6, 2021, and he would remain on Truth Social. I'm not going on Twitter. I'm going to stay on Truth, he told Fox. I hope Elon buys Twitter because he'll make improvements to it, and if he's a good man, I'm going to be staying on Truth. Musk's ownership of Twitter has been roiled in some left-leaning employees and outside pundits who have expressed fears that his free emphasis will empower the far right, which is stupid. Because basically, you know, these companies are here. They're in Silicon Valley. They're American companies. Freedom of speech. And you say, well, they are a company. Yes, but they are also under regulations that tell them they are a platform and not a publisher. When you become a publisher, then that's when you could say, well, we have to censor it up to a certain point. We have to be careful what we put on because we could be sued. When it comes to being a platform, you cannot ban one or the other unless it's something that is something like pornography. If you're putting porn on these sites and not policing it, that's an issue. That is a total major issue on there. And we see it on Facebook, we see it on Instagram, we see it on Twitter, and we see it on TikTok. And it's just getting worse. I mean, there are sections of YouTube that are hidden that have a lot of strange things on there. Why hasn't YouTube handled that? Why haven't they taken care of that situation? No, they're paying attention to what we're saying, what we're talking about. If we don't like this particular movie, if we do coverage of a particular Hollywood trial, certain words, certain subjects, they're just paying attention to that. But meanwhile, the barbarians have already overrun the gates, and they're in your systems. They're staying right into your system, bleeding into it, putting more and more on there, and disguising it. Naked yoga is one of them. I've seen videos, and I'll tell you this: I've seen videos where girls are dressed like hookers, and they're doing sexually poses in high heels, and they have it listed as naked yoga. That's ridiculous. It's total insanity. You're either doing naked yoga exercises, which there should be some blocks like similar to some of the sites where it says, well, here's some content. If you want to see the content, click away, put an age guard on there. That's to that situation. It's the same thing like if you're teaching breastfeeding or anything of that nature of a health issue. In my comments line, I have people who spam my comments line with pornography constantly. And, I do check in to make sure it's the page. When you guys comment on the lines and you make unusual comments and you put links to the situation, and I tell you, don't put links in there, because YouTube sees that, and sometimes they'll cross you out or they'll put you into YouTube jail, and then I won't see your comment. But the thing is, they try to put them in there, and when you look at their page, they've just created the YouTube page, brand new, and they're redirecting you to either an adult site or to their Instagram page or something to the nature. And you can see that the thumbnail is a half-naked girl, and that's like, and it's the same thing with Twitter. I see the same thing on there. I mean, there are occasions, especially if you're looking at anime and cosplay. For some reason, I don't know why it joins it together. But there are some, obviously there's some cosplayers that have OnlyFans, and they do have sexy stuff on there. Why does that pull in the porn stuff? That's Twitter's algorithm. But the thing about it is, every once in a while, I'll get a page or two where there is a porn. And the thing about it is, it's not something from the industry. This is something that may have been shot on Shadowmate, OnlyFans, or something to that nature. That it's homemade stuff, and it's pretty explicit. It doesn't have any blocks or anything to that nature. How many kids who look at cosplay and anime that this happens to? How many young kids? You don't know. You don't know the situation. Actually, Twitter does know, and they're not going to tell you. See, this is the situation, and this is why we tell you why that children are being exposed to these situations which they shouldn't be. They yell at laws that are being pushed to the situation in the schools that certain things that they're trying to phase out of the system so children doesn't see it. I understand. There's a lot of adults here online, and that's fine. We talk of an adult nature, but we have to watch out of who else is watching, or reading on our sites a lot of our stuff. That's why you put there are other sites like Parler and Gab and Minds that put up sensitive blocks. It can be put sensitive blocks, but these guys are not going to use sensitive blocks. Again, and I said they're paying attention to what an opposing opinion says on their sites, and not paying attention to the real problems that are going on. So we'll see what happens with this, and hey, hopefully Twitter gets better in their day.